Have you ever felt neglected by the other person, and if yes, what did you do?
Yes, I felt.
We went through that in the beginning. I've never felt that, like, oh my god, not me crying.
Hey guys, so welcome to Taty's channel. I'm her man, and
Ooh.
yeah. Wait, hold on, let me get in my bag.
Okay.
Hey guys, welcome to Taty's channel. I'm Tiz. If you don't know, you should know because you should have watched the podcast. But if you don't know, now you know. Welcome to our Q&A. Yes, that's what we're doing today, a Q&A. So get ready, buckle up, because it's about to be lit.
Ooh, period.
Hey guys.
We're back. Y'all have not seen me on my channel for a little minute. How do you feel?
What's up? It feels good to be back. I'm excited.
Are you excited?
Yeah, of course.
So today, if you couldn't tell by the title, we are doing a Q&A. We put a little poll on Instagram and y'all asked a bunch of questions. Some of them y'all did not hold back. So some of them we're not gonna repeat just because if you want to see like an in-depth response, go watch the podcast. We already did that for like an hour. Today will be our fun little questions on our relationship, how we keep it going, spicy stuff. Q&A, where do we start? What do y'all do after an argument?
After like the argument is done, they're saying.
Yeah, after it settles.
It settles, yeah. We cuddle up and we snack.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Usually, honestly, it happens decently quickly. Like, we're not the type of couple that's arguing for like hours and hours, days and days. Like, we don't really play like that. There's not really a reason for us to not be talking for like a day or something like that.
No, a day is crazy. Yeah.
That's really dragging it. Usually, we have the argument, right? Either he knows like, okay, let me come say sorry or let me restart the conversation. Either he'll do that on his own or he doesn't, and then I'll be like, so you really not gonna say nothing? I'll be like, so you really not gonna say nothing? Like, after all of this? And then he'll be like, okay, babe, what do we need to, what's unresolved? And then we'll resolve it. We're just like, okay.
And then we put on a movie.
And then we put on a movie and we eat some snacks and we hang out and rub toes.
Okay, so now question.
Okay.
What's my go-to snack right now?
Right now he's rocking with the peaches and
Yes.
the applesauce.
Yes.
What's my snack?
You are rocking with the crunchy Chips Ahoy in the microwave for 30 seconds with a bowl of popcorn.
Yikes, that sounds crazy. Let's address that, actually. Let's address that. For all of y'all that have been like questioning me, like, are you pregnant? No, I'm not pregnant. I'm not pregnant. I may have pregnancy cravings. Like, you know, sometimes I'll sit like this, or sometimes I'll like, I don't know, y'all see me eat crazy, but I'm not pregnant, y'all. Like, I'm not pregnant.
Yeah.
Stop saying it. But to speak on that, we will one day.
Oh, yes, definitely. We definitely want to have kids.
Yeah, you want to be your baby mom?
My wife.
Period.
We definitely want to start a family.
Don't rush me. I'm 24. Like, we're still growing within ourselves. We're still doing self-growth and things like that. And what I don't want to do is rush raising somebody else and like entrusting myself to get them to know themselves if I don't feel that I fully know myself. I feel like we still learn stuff about each other. We still help each other learn things about ourselves. Not chat, y'all. Not chat.
Stay tuned though.
Don't put that out. I guess you kind of answer that. How do y'all come together after an argument? Somebody's just gotta break the ice.
Somebody just has to do it. It's uncomfortable, but just do it. And then once it's over with, it's like, oh, it's over.
It's not that serious.
It's not that serious.
It's never that serious.
It's never, that's the key to remembering. It's never really that serious. Unless it is, and then, well, it's serious. Good piece of advice would be to just be open about what it is you're feeling, what it is you perceive the argument to be, and get the other person's perspective. And usually when you guys have a common understanding of each other, it gets worked out.
Oh, growth, period. In the cut with my twin, we be vibing.
What's your origin? Philadelphia is our origin story. We met at Temple University, and we talked about that in the 1-800 Self-Love Club podcast, so go check that out.
Oh, I like this one. What did you notice first when you saw Taty for the first time?
I noticed your face.
My face? Really?
Like you have a little like doll face.
Really?
So I was like, wow, she's really pretty. I noticed that you were pretty, one, obviously, and then I was like, okay, let me look at her outfit.
Oh.
To make sure like she can dress. You was styling, so I was like, okay.
Really? In college?
Like you had like that cute like run around fit on.
Okay,
like, you know what I'm saying? Like You didn't look busted.
The little freshie on campus.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, Dante is an alpha. Oh my gosh. First of all, if you didn't know, Dante is Tiz's real name. If you didn't know that, his name is Dante. And so I call him Dante. I don't call him Tiz. And the only time I say Tiz is if I'm speaking to other people, but like about him. And sometimes I still slip up, but his name is Dante. Anyway, when I saw Tiz on campus, I didn't know Dante yet. He was strolling. Like, he was a fresh alpha. He was just... rolls eyes. Dante was just like the one on campus. He was just, all the girls was always somewhere near him, somewhere around him, trying to be close to him. He was the one getting all the attention in the room. If you could think about it in terms of like high school, like he was like the cool kid, like at the cool kid table. Actually, you want to know the crazy thing? I literally might insert the video. I have a video the first time that I saw Dante.
Yeah, she does. She has a video the first time. We didn't know each other. My alpha brothers and I, we were strolling, and she just so happened to be there, and she recorded us strolling.
How crazy is that? Like, literally, I don't know what, I just like remember going to college and being like, oh my god, this is so cool, because Temple has this thing called Temple Fest. It was Temple Fest, right? Where like the first kind of week or so that new students are coming in, like they bring out all the clubs, they bring out all the groups and the organizations and the frats, and like everybody's out just so it's like super fun and welcoming. When I had walked to our main like walkway, I seen them strolling inserts video, and I was like, oh, this school is lit, this is so cool. So I recorded it, and I had like zoomed in on him because he was kind of running it, you know what I mean? So I was like, oh, and I recorded it not knowing that
that I was gonna be your man. That I was gonna be your man.
Whatever. 5 years later, I feel like I manifested it, really. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay.
Have you ever felt neglected by the other person? And if yes, what did you do?
Yes. I felt neglected when you went to sleep on the couch after an argument.
Oh my god. You're gonna die. Okay, why did you feel neglected?
I felt neglected because it was like, why would you get out the bed and go sleep on the couch? Felt like left in the cold room, even though our room isn't cold, but it felt like a cold room without you in it.
Oh.
So
he hates when I do that. Sometimes I do that.
She tries to do that. It really doesn't even have to be like an argument per se. Like sometimes she'll just be like, I'm not ready to go to bed, so I'm going in the living room.
If I'm scrolling on like TikTok and stuff, I don't want to be like, you know, boys don't care. They'll do that while you're sleeping. But I try to be respectful and like not, you know, especially, you know, he works a lot. I don't want to like interrupt his sleep. So I'll just go on the couch and like eat some more snacks and like watch my TikTok and then come to bed. But he feels neglected by that. Or sometimes after an argument, if I feel like we're not getting to a resolution, I have done that. I will go to the couch, and not even to be petty, but just on some like, we're not gonna resolve it, and me laying here in us not being resolved is uncomfortable for me. So it's like, I'm the anxiously attached person, and so, but even when that happens, I think
you're the avoidant one when that happens.
Exactly. When that happens, I get avoidant. It's like, he's fine with that. We can argue and we can just lay in the bed and not say nothing to each other until it gets resolved. I'm not fine with that. If we've argued and we're not resolving it, I'll just leave. Like, I'll just go in the other room, just take a shower. I don't like that, because that makes me feel neglected.
Well,
boom.
And there we go. We have the answer.
That makes me feel neglected. The reason why he gets neglected is because I feel neglected first. Like, I feel like you're not resolving it.
And so it's my fault.
The way that I would say, that's when I feel neglected. Like, if he's just like, oh my gosh, whatever, like, we'll resolve it eventually. It's like, no, I want to resolve it right now.
Do you think there's a good age to start dating?
We just talked about this today. In terms of like our future children, like when would be the right time?
I say around the high school time. I know that some, you know, younger kids start doing the whole girlfriend, boyfriend thing in middle school. Say high school. Because you don't want your kids to like go to college and you have never met somebody that they were interested in before that. Like, you know, you want to see what type of person your kid is going to bring home, what they're into. So that way when they go to college, they're not like new to it and you're not around to help them through it.
I agree. I feel like high school, only because there's so much self-discovery to do even through high school, that like you can get really lost in like somebody else if you don't fully know yourself. So at like 12, 13, 14, like you don't know who you are yet. You're figuring it out, but trying to figure out somebody else can kind of like deter you from figuring out yourself. So I just don't think like there's enough solidification in self until like into high school. Like I wouldn't even say like freshman year. Like,
no, yeah.
You're midway through high school. You're about
and you know,
to
high schoolers be like madly into
just
their relationship.
love.
They're like, oh my god, this is the one.
What's something you really love about your partner?
Something I really love about you is the way that you are vulnerable with me.
Elaborate.
When you're feeling away or when you have a problem, you don't You don't try to act like you don't have a problem or you don't feel a way. You're very direct. Like, you'll come to me and say, hey, look, this bothered me. This is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm perceiving. Can you help me through this? I think you doing that, one, makes me really respect you, because it's like, wow, that took a lot of courage. So, like, you know, it makes me admire your strength. But also it makes me, like, more comfortable to say, hey, okay, well, this is what I was feeling, or this is what I'm perceiving. So can you help me?
That's something you love about me, just not in the moment.
And in the moment, I'm probably dealing with whatever you're bringing to me, but at the end of the day, I appreciate the fact that you did it the way you did.
Because you think what? The alternative is what? If I'm not vulnerable with you like that, then
Anything could happen. Stuff could pile up. You might be feeling away for longer than you need to be.
that's something I really love about my partner. He is open to adjustment. And I think that that's like been a theme throughout their relationship, is just like consistent adjustment. Adjusting lifestyle, adjusting communication style, willingness to be vulnerable, adjusting listening skills, adjusting. It's not about changing your partner, it's just about adjusting and growing. I think his willingness to grow is something that I love, because I feel like it's not even just me. Anybody in his life will tell you like who he was a few years ago versus who he is now is like a 180 person. Like, it's a completely different person. But it's just like him closer to your highest self. The way that you got there is like willingness to listen and willingness to grow. Some guys will just be like, I am the way I am and it is what it is. Deal with it. And like, we went through that in the beginning. It was a little bit of stubbornness. I don't know if it was like the Leo in him or just adjustment. Eventually he was willing to be like, okay, what did you mean by that? And what is this communication style? And what I don't like when people are closed-minded and not wanting to be their best selves. Being your best self requires being a student of life. So I love that. I feel that you are a student of life.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You liked that.
I did like that.
3 essential rules of your relationship.
I'll do like fun ones. No hanging up on each other.
Oh.
No snacks in the bed.
Yeah.
We have to agree on whatever's on the TV together.
That was a really good 3.
Yeah.
The first one was no hanging up on each other. Oh my God. I used to be so bad with this. If I could describe myself, it would be like the little angry guy with like blowing steam on top of his head. Like, I literally can't, like the Arthur fist. Oh my God, I'm literally getting agitated just thinking about it. We'll be like going back and forth to something like in the beginning of the relationship.
Like an argument.
It's always over like little stuff. They'll be like, I'll just see you when you get here. Bang on me. Oh my God. Like, then it's like my pride, I'm not gonna call you back. It's just when I see you, now we're gonna argue about something else because now you disrespected me. Hung up on me while I was speaking. Oh my God. So that was a rule implemented on my end because I don't play like that. And if I were to, I don't think I've ever hung up on you.
Yes, you have.
Mid-argument?
You literally said, banged on you. Hung up on me.
Yeah, but that's when we're playing. I never hung up on you when we were seriously having a conversation.
Anyway, the second one is no snacking in the bed.
That's not something I implemented. I'm a snacker.
Yeah, and before we moved in together, she used to like to snack in the bed. Like, you know, nothing crazy. Like, you know, we're not having seafood boils in the bed. Like popcorn. She would like to eat like popcorn in the bed and like watch a movie.
He hates that.
I don't like snacking in the bedroom, so that's like a new rule we've implemented. No snacking in the bed. Just like, you know, there's an area for snacking.
Like a designated snack area. Like, what is that? Sometimes I'm in the bed and I want a cookie. What is that about?
Eat a cookie on the couch. Anyway,
for
like 3,
movie decisions.
Yes, we have to collectively agree on whatever movie we watch, because if we leave it up to me, I will put on
Batman.
Exactly.
And I don't want to watch that for the 4,000th time. Tell them how much you know about that movie.
I know the whole script. I know the words as they're coming. I could close my eyes and like say the words and tell you what's happening. I know that movie very well.
Front to back, like it's scary.
And if anybody wants to challenge me, put the money up.
How did y'all know that y'all locked in for real, for real?
We signed that lease. That ain't locked in.
You asking like an actual concrete thing? Well, I would say obviously we moved in together.
Yeah.
But we also got a cat together.
I was gonna say we got a cat. Yeah.
And once you get a pet together, it's like, whoa, now, God forbid something goes left. Now it's the argument of like who gets the pet. And like we equally love our child. So it's kind of like, once you do that, like I wouldn't suggest getting a pet with anybody that you're not like certain about.
It'll get messy.
I can't imagine having to part with our cat.
He would want to go with me.
He would stay with me, and that's why once we got him,
you didn't even.
I didn't really want him, I'm not gonna lie. I don't like cats.
She didn't even want the cat. No, she is in love with the cat now. It's her best friend. He goes to her first now, lays on her side. Everything is all about mommy.
Mommy's boy. But I would say not like concrete things, like knowing that we were locked in, I would just say like making decisions as a unit. Like for like what we wanted for our future, having conversations for ourselves, considering each other in our decisions, sacrificing for each other, like things like that.
Yeah, you don't have to go sign a lease for
those are
let's get some simple ones.
Lease.
Those are like heavy ones, like you should, down the road. But like once you guys start deciding, like, once your personal decisions start to involve the other person, I think that's when like, okay, things are serious.
What's your number one tip for couples to stay together?
In order to stay together, you have to be transparent and you have to be yourself, or else it won't work.
Why?
Because then it's all just a facade, and eventually, that'll clash.
You know what's so funny?
What?
This is like a funny story moment. When we first started dating, I like tried to be like the cool girlfriend. Like I tried to be like understanding and like, oh, tell me about your ex. Like tried to be like key about it. And then like I literally could not hold that for more than like 30 days. And it was like, now you are gonna find out I'm kind of crazy. But I'm really not that bad. I'm just like very protective over my partner. And so I think like the first month, because his lifestyle came with like having to be outside a lot, having to be in a club, this and that, I tried to be like very understanding because it wasn't my typical like lifestyle. So I tried to be like very understanding and like this and that until it was like, there's some things I'm just not gonna understand. And then that just like wore off. So I think that is just like an example of like you can only try to be something you're not for so long, and like I'm just not that. I agree, like being transparent is everything, and it just like takes the stress off of like having to like
put up a facade.
You can just enjoy the relationship. And honestly, I think why a lot of people are scared to not be transparent is because it's like, well, if I'm transparent, like what if they don't like me, or like what if we don't mesh like with like my true self. But it's like, if that's the case, then that's just not your person. Go find the person that you can be.
You got to be okay with that.
You have to be okay with like the person that you want to be your person not being your person, if that's the case. Like go find the person you can be transparent with and it work out. Something that I think helps the relationship is not only being transparent with my partner, but being transparent with my support systems. So like, for example, if I'm calling my girlfriend for some advice, I'm not gonna tell her from my perspective. I'm gonna tell her what happened, because I think like that gives a better response of what I can get. Or if I'm talking to my therapist about what I'm going through or what we may be dealing with, I'm going to be transparent, because I'm not going to get the best help and advice for what I'm going through if I'm not being transparent about what that is. Now, speaking of therapy, I feel like a lot of people feel like therapy is just for people that are going through like serious mental health issues or like something so crazy, but it's really not. I feel like we all need therapy. Like it's literally for the everyday person, because the everyday person goes through a lot. That's why we're excited to tell you about today's sponsor, Betterhelp.
Betterhelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible.
Which is super important, because finding a therapist can be super hard, especially when you're limited to the options in your area. Betterhelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online and it's remote.
Right, and by filling out a few questions, they can match you with a therapist in as little as a few days.
Period. It's super easy to sign up and get matched with a therapist.
And there's a link in the description, betterhelp.com/Taty.
Now, of course, clicking that link helps support this channel, but it also gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp to see if you can find a therapist that works for you. And because finding a therapist is a little bit like dating, you can always switch your therapist out.
Yeah, and you can do this without stress, insurance, or worrying about who's in your network.
As much work as we do together, I really think that therapy is like a crucial part of why our relationship is as successful as it is.
Yeah, no, I agree. So if you're considering, then click the link in the description.
Or visit betterhelp.com/Taty.
Thank you to Betterhelp for supporting this channel. Now back to the video.
Someone asked this question and I feel like they thought it was kind of backhanded because they like put in quotations, happy for y'all, by the way. He said, how has it lasted for so long? Happy for y'all, by the way.
We know, but the city we're in,
for sure.
It's definitely.
How has it lasted?
Yeah, say just us committing to our commitment, wanting to be in it, being ourselves, praying, just enjoying each other.
That was another question that I saw in here, like how do y'all, if y'all do, keep God at the center of your relationship? And I feel like we do. And I think that is like the main answer. And I know that everybody's not religious and like everyone believes in different things, but I think just having something above yourselves to hold at the center of the relationship is what matters. Not ego runs the relationship, and I think that's all of the issues that we've had have been rooted in ego. Removing ego is like replacing it with something higher than self, like humbling selves into serving something else, I guess.
Yeah.
So I feel like in serving God, we serve our relationship. Someone asked me, for Taty, how do you let yourself be open to relationships and friendships after being hurt repeatedly? Yikes, that's how I know I share with y'all. The biggest thing that I would say is to not put what someone else has done on your next partner, on your next friend, whatever it is, to be honest, because I feel like I go into a lot, and he knows this, I go into a lot of my friendships very guarded because I've dealt with enough with some of my past girlfriends, and so sometimes I'll expect a repeat out of the next friend, which doesn't allow me to fully immerse myself in the experience of the friendship. Every friendship is going to be an experience and it's going to teach me something, and that's what I should be focused on, and not fear of hurt, because growth comes from hurt regardless. And so I would say the same thing for a relationship. Like, don't put what your ex did on the new person that you're talking to, because it's unfair. And honestly, maybe that's the ego in me, I would never give somebody that much. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna give you the power of like ruining the rest of my dating life because you did some lame-ish. Why would I even give you that? No, like, you're done. You're a thing in the past. Next. What you didn't do, the next will. And I feel that 100%. I know I've been telling you that for years, but.
And something I'd want to add to that is that, like, you should be able to see what behaviors are repeating and what aren't. So if you're with somebody who is doing a complete 180 of the person that was doing like the things that you didn't like, you know, just take mental note of that. Or if they're doing the same things, then, you know, you should know what to expect.
Period. Have your eyes open for red flags and green flags. Don't only look for the red flags. Okay, this is a good question for you as a man. Okay. She wants to know, is 3 months of talking too long? He hasn't initiated to be official yet.
3 months?
3
like,
months.
what type of talking are we talking
They're
about?
talking.
What type of talking are we talking about? Because if we're talking about 3 months of the type of talking we were doing, that's too long.
That's too long.
Like, is it 3 months of like y'all on the phone every day, y'all going out to eat, like he's bringing you here, he's bringing you there, people starting to see y'all around town? Because if it's 3 months of that, then it's like we practically dating already, so what's going on? But if it's 3 months of like we check in here and there, I send you a like, you send me a like, but we don't really talk, then y'all are just, y'all playing still.
Just if they're having consistent conversation, they texting every day, they make plans.
Oh, yeah. If it's 3 months of talking every day, texting every day, making plans, and being excited to see each other for 3 months.
He's a dub?
I don't think he's a dub. He might have something going on regarding commitment, but actually like her. But I think because he's not stepping up to the plate, she might have to. And if she doesn't want to do that, then he might be a dub. Guys sometimes don't always see the full picture the way y'all do. He may feel like I'm putting my best foot forward, not knowing that she's looking for more. He may be like, well, you know, we're not talkers. So he might be like, well, my actions are showing you that for 3 months I've been consistent, I've been on the phone with you, I've been talking to you, I've been taking you out. But she may be like, yeah, that's cool, but I want you to say it, and he may not know that.
That's fair. I would tell him like, yo, I'm a verbal person, so I need to know what's going on here, with my time. And
it's so funny that you bring this up, because we actually had a situation like this ourselves where I was trying to figure out what was going on. And if you want to know that story, head over to her TikTok.
Yes, we did have a situation like that, but I'm a girl, baby.
just head over to her TikTok after this video and check it out.
Whatever. What's the funnest thing y'all like to do together?
I'll tell you the least fun thing.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna say for you, going to the track.
Yikes. Let me insert clips. Boom, boom, boom. It's a no for me, y'all. He's been trying to take me, so if y'all don't know, he is a boxer. He's been trying to take me to the track with him. Oh my God.
Afterwards, you're happy you did it.
Yeah, I like the endorphins afterwards, but like the during is like,
it's tough.
Recently we've been playing zombie games. That's been fun for us. Recently we've been playing video games together. Girls, there's a hack. For all of us who don't like when your man is like on Madden, 2K, whatever it is, like playing the game, just play the game with him. There you go. Now you're involved. So now we play the game together. We play Call of Duty together because I like zombie games. Is there a phase in relationships when arguing is recurrent? How do you get past it?
Yeah, I think there's a phase in the relationship when arguing is recurrent. And I think that phase is when you're kind of breaking the surface of like, oh, we're just having fun, and things become a little more serious once you guys really start to like integrate your lives together. Because honestly, you shouldn't be arguing early on. It should be fun and it should be light and you guys should be enjoying each other's company. So if you're arguing too early, that's a red flag. But if, you know, you're at the phase where, okay, now we're starting to really integrate and our schedules and be on one accord, the arguments start to happen because you're adjusting to having to think for somebody else as well. I think it's just about, we keep saying this, but transparency, being vulnerable. Hey, I didn't like when you left me this morning because usually we leave together, and then you might explain like, oh, I didn't even think about that. Now you know for the next morning.
I agree. Honestly, that's just a phase you're gonna go through. Now, what I will say is you do need to understand the difference between we're going through a phase of bickering and like this may be becoming toxic. There's a big difference in that, and I don't want to ever encourage staying in something like that. What I will say is there is going to be a phase where you do start arguing about things that are more serious, because your partner will end up putting the mirror to you. All the things that you don't like about yourself are going to come up, and sometimes it may come up in the reflection of your partner. Even in myself, right? Like how we gave the example before about like how I get avoidant sometimes when I'm feeling neglected. I don't like feeling neglected, but he doesn't either. So now we're mirroring each other and neglecting each other. And it's like, oh, you're neglecting me. Whole time, like, you're neglecting them too. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like a mirror situation. I think when you really are in something with somebody, all your trauma comes up, all your worst fears come up, everything comes up. So there will be a stage where you have to kind of like purge that out. You have to be mindful of each other's trauma and be able to physically see it. The quicker you get rid of your ego, the quicker you will get past that stage. You'll be able to have the like forever honeymoon stage, if that's a thing. Some people think that's like a myth, but it's really not. I think like we're like happier now than we were before.
No, definitely.
Obviously we still argue, but we argue better. And that's what matters. Okay, the question is, how often do you guys argue? Arguing and having a conversation are two different things. Arguing is like maybe more like passionate or like argumentative or like combative. I feel like that's an argument where you're not really hearing each other. Just having a conversation, I wouldn't consider that as arguing. Like me being like, hey, when this happened, it made me feel like this. That's not an argument. We're just talking. Right. We probably have them like once or twice a month. Even still.
And the word argument sounds like worse than
dragging it.
Yeah.
It never gives like, F you. It's not giving all of
Yeah. But we have conversations multiple times throughout the week.
I always feel like I'm literally such an advocate of having conversations, because something that men have to understand, and that's something that you did have to understand too.
I know.
Men are so bad at like understanding girls. Like men are so bad at understanding. Like when I'm bringing something to you, I'm not trying to argue. I'm just talking to you about what I'm feeling. Like they be feeling like, oh, you're trying to argue because I said like, oh, well, when you did this, it upset me. Oh my God, you're trying to argue with me. No, I'm not. I'm literally just talking to you. Like I'm calm. You gonna know when I'm trying to argue. You know what I mean? Like, this is me just telling you, like, hey, this is how I felt. This is me advocating for myself. This is for me being vulnerable. And this is for me, out of respect for you, telling you what I'm feeling so that I don't take it the wrong way and have unnecessary resentment towards you. Because I respect you and because I love you, I want to hear from your mouth what you meant by X, Y, and Z. Or I want to hear from your mouth blah, 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 so that I can resolve the feelings that I have towards you right now. That's not an argument. But men be like, oh my God. Like, why is that? Why do y'all think that that's an argument?
Men aren't. Most men, or I'll just speak for myself. When you bring certain things to me, you're trying to have the conversation, it felt like a drag at first. Like, oh my God, do we really have to talk about this? Do we really have to go through this? Like, the situation is over with. I'm more of like it happened, let's move forward. But she's helped me understand that you can't really move forward without coming to a common ground. Like
a rag or something were to be like wet, right? And like talking about it would be like wringing it out. I feel like men don't want to wring it out completely. So then it's always like dripping a little. It's always just little drips coming along the way that like leave a trail along the way. Like you're not gonna completely get everything out of that rag unless you really wring it out. And wringing it out requires sitting there talking about it, the bad, the good, the in-between. Like wring it out, and when you don't, it's gonna keep leaking, and now you might like, oh my God, why are we still leaking? Because you didn't really bring it out. Like, we didn't really talk about it, you know what I mean? So a woman trying to come to you about her feelings is literally out of respect for you, because she could be like, I'm gonna take it how I take it, and I'm gonna resent you. That would be how I would treat a man I didn't respect. Like, I don't even respect you enough to come to you and try to fix it, to be honest, you know? But I respect you, so I'm gonna tell you.
Basically, if you haven't taken anything from this video, make sure you wring it out.
What do you think is the biggest thing that you've learned throughout the relationship?
You've taught me how to be myself, how to be comfortable being me. And not that you like be like, this is how you be yourself, but I think I've just watched you be you, that it's like, I should be me. I feel like you're very comfortable with who you are, and that's made me more comfortable. I've learned a lot about how to communicate. I've learned a lot about mental health, and I've learned a lot about just how to love someone properly.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I think I've learned, honestly, this relationship has taught me so much about myself. It's forced me to face myself in ways that I haven't before. It's in facing myself, I've grown and I've learned so much about like what confidence actually is, not what I thought it was, not what it looks like, what true confidence is with everything stripped away. Something that Dante has taught me specifically is just like helping me be more present, we'll say, because y'all know I have anxiety. It's hard for me to be present all the time. I'm always like in my mind. It's a safe space for me. I'm always like future, past, anything. Like I'm always kind of bouncing around because it just feels safest for me here. Literally, I like cried to my therapist like one time, like the past couple months, and I was telling her like I had a moment for like the first time, which is like really big for me. We were like laying in the bed, we were just like hanging out, and like he just like said something, we were laughing. I don't even know if I told you this, but I was like looking at you, and I literally felt this like euphoric feeling over my body of like presence. Like we weren't doing nothing, like we were literally just hee ha ha in the bed, and you didn't even know this like happened to me. But like it literally was like my head to my toes of like like I'm happy, like I'm present. And I literally cried. Like I told her like I've never felt that, like, oh my god, not me crying. I've never felt that like in my life. And like I don't know, like it just made me so emotional because I was just like, oh my god, like having that moment made me feel like more of those moments like are possible. And I feel like before this relationship, like I never thought that I would like have those moments, I guess. So I would say this relationship taught me to be more present and just like enjoy like what God has blessed me with, and just like allow things to be what they are and allow things to just like flow, not to get sad. Well, now that I cried.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. I hope you guys enjoyed our Q&A. We had some fun. We got serious. All those fun things. If you guys have more questions for us, you can ask in the comments. We'll be responding to y'all. And whatever other content you want to see from us, let us know. You might see him more often. Okay, y'all. Make sure y'all check out the links in my description. Make sure you check out everything that Dante has going on at his influence on all platforms. And I will see y'all in my next one.